Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Easter indeed. I hope you had lots of chocolate. Did you find so many eggs? How many eggs did you find? Did you get Cadbury's cream egg? Oh, I like those cream eggs. Yeah. All right. Guys, this is a Sunday hangout. It's going to be fairly raw. Not a whole lot of script to this show. I will be doing my review for Air. You know that movie that I was ragging on for most of the week? You knew that going into it, I was kind of like, meh. I posted a story about it yesterday. I was with, people near and dear to me, so I didn't have a chance to do my straight out of the theater reaction. But we'll talk about our thoughts about this movie and what I think, how it fared. I liked it. There you go. But we'll get into that when we get into the review, into the main review. In just a little bit, I'll be going into the kitchen and starting on roasting up a ham for a ham dinner for family. All right, so I just thought we would scroll through some of the headlines and see what's going on out there. Of course, James, it helps if you set up your Chrome browser. You know, I set up everything, but obviously I don't set up everything. It's a common mistake, but it's just the way that OBS is set up. I got to set it up like this because it optimizes things. It's hard to explain, guys. Anyway, here we are. I'm just looking for any headline that jumps out at me. Paint director Britt McAdams talks Bob Ross and Owen Wilson. Okay, so Paint was that movie that was inspired by Bob Ross, where Owen Wilson has got like that haircut that looks like him, right? And it's kind of like about a guy who paints on TV and his hair gets big, or like his show gets big and he gets taken out by somebody else who tries to copy his format and stuff like that. Yeah, because Owen Wilson has got like the fro. We've seen this before. The trailers, at least. So I guess it's got to be close to coming out, huh? If you don't know, I was inspired to paint myself because of Bob Ross. So I have the highest respects for him. When does Paint come out? Let's take a look. It's got to be this month. April 7th. So it came out this week? Wow. That's, wow. Not even at the art house theater. But as you can see, guys, I do paint, so you can see that there's like paintings that are very Bob Rossian inspired like. Where am I at here? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know what I can do. I can go over to my art house theater listings and see if it's listed there. All right. Because I only have got like one small art house theater here. Oh, Chris Schober's here. He says in the live chat that should be working because I propped it out, guys. Oy. Says, happy Easter. I had a lot of chocolate today and I had a chocolate Easter bunny cake this morning. It was delicious. Cool, man. I'm having a chocolate cake tonight for dessert with my roasted ham. All right, let's take a look at the cinema listings here for April at the Art House Theater. Jesus Revolution, Lost King, 1,000 to 1. Still playing. I'm not seeing Paint. They might get it towards the end of the month. This art house theater is fairly small. I do go to movies here. It's okay. What did I see there? I saw Women Talking there was the last one that I saw. But they play a lot more of the art housey kind of stuff. Chevalier is going to be there. That doesn't look like they're going to have Paint, but you think somebody's got to have a copy of Paint, you would think. Sometimes Landmark. Super Mario. Oh, Super Mario is eating it up at the box office. What did I do? As of Saturday night, it made 113 million. over its 4 days, because it released on Wednesday, right? So it's got 4 days so far, and those projections of maybe making 160 for this weekend for Super Mario is in reach. That was grandiose. But remember, it's not a normal 2-day weekend. It's a long weekend. It's a 4-day weekend here for some people, and in the States, for some reason, they got 5 days. But there you go. So it's almost like a week's worth of revenue counting as a weekend. And a lot of people say, well, but that's the highest gross ever for a weekend. Guys, there's a little bit of nuance that has to be taken in with that. And I don't like people boasting that, it's 160 for an opening weekend. Well, they got some extra days counted in there. Regardless, it's a success. I had fun with it. Chris Schober said this in the live chat. I went to see John Wick Chapter 4 yesterday. Were you taking your date to that movie or something? Didn't you say you had a date with someone? Anyway, and it was a great film. Right to the ending was a perfect ending. We don't need a John Wick Chapter 5. Yeah, they've closed off the John Wick stories. Well, his story arc, I thought they closed that off perfectly. Like trying to come back for a Chapter 5, I think it undoes it a little bit. Like as I said, there's ways for it to work around where you could like have him pop up in other side stories like Ballerina and stuff like that. There's ways to still have John Wick around, but his main story arc really concluded well. Shazam is still playing, surprisingly. John Wick is still playing. Yeah. It's its only third week. But Super Mario is knocking it out of the park. And surprisingly, the theater that I saw Air in was pretty packed. Okay, so yeah, look at all the X's here. I don't like Landmark's site as well as Cineplex, because their seating chart is not as it's easier to read, I would say. Let's just take a look at the seating chart for Air. 315. Okay, so it's not that much. So all the blue is empty. Gray is, see how it's easier to read? But some of the showings that I saw it in Etobicoke, so that's like Toronto, and it was packed. That was a packed theater. People were sitting down in the front seats because everything down up here was full. For Air. Yeah. All right, we'll get into the review here pretty soon. I'm just trying to see what other headlines are out there. Fantastic Four will reportedly be very cosmic. Well, yeah. Ahsoka Lars Mikkelsen to reprise Star Wars role confirmed. So we know who our Grand Admiral Thrawn actor is going to be. It's going to be Lars Mikkelsen. Ahsoka. Night Swim. Release date, Blumhouse Movies. And that's weird. You know, they showed him in the trailer. I was just thinking about this. They showed him in the trailer, but we didn't get to see his face. But then they reveal him on stage. So, and apparently they did show a face shot of him. I don't know. I guess they were trying to save that for people who actually went to the celebration. I was like, get out of here with that nonsense. I detest it when people are like, you got to save stuff for people who are living in the area and can afford to get there. No, that's ridiculous. It's nonsense, and I dismiss it as hogwash. People who think themselves so righteous that you get to go to a Comic-Con or some kind of celebration and you feel like you specially deserve content meant for them. Yeah, there he is standing on stage. It's like, get out of here with that BS. Your self-righteous BS. Nobody wants to hear that. If it's there, it should be for everybody. Anybody who wants to buy a stream of this should have access to that. And once that's done, it's on the internet. Don't try to save it for yeah. Well, you know what I said about that, right? All right. Chris Schober says, I hope that when they bring 3 new movies that Lucasfilm announced at the end of Celebration 2023, I hope they don't fail at the box office. Well, I hope so. I hope they don't either. You know, I do want them to succeed, despite, you know, how I felt about this Star Wars sequel trilogy. I do want a spin-off, like I want that spin-off with Rey to work. And I want to see her because she's not going to have the you know, the Jedi Council like Yoda waving her finger at her saying, "You can't teach a Jedi like that." What about the code? Like that was part of the undoing, which I do believe Lucas did a great job of showcasing in the prequels, the arrogance of the Jedi. It just, yeah, feels like that's what the sequel trilogy should have been about, instead of what the heck they came up with. Anyway, box office Super Mario opens to a stupendous 204. Wow, 204.6 US, 377 million globally. Now, as I said, remember guys, that's like 5 days. That's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then some people even have Monday off too. So that's 6 days. So yeah, it's pretty much on an entire week's gross. And they're counting it as the weekend. So like these headlines, we'll have to deal with it. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of bloated, but it's warranted. Super Mario was a lot of fun. Quick 90-minute movie. It's not Shakespeare. It's not going to like win any awards for screenwriting or anything like that. Air might win something for screenwriting. The dialogue in it was pretty tight. Acting in it was pretty tight. Affleck on Air, new CEO gig, and those memes. I am who I am. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll pick up most of these headlines tomorrow. I'm just scanning them to see if anything jumps out at me. It looks like Indiana Jones action figures are out now. Molly Shannon and Ego Nwadim lose the Jonas Brothers in Saturday Night Live promo. Molly Shannon's returning to Saturday Night Live? Cool. Or was she on last night? I don't know. Okay, not too much there. Let's skip the big trades. Let's go straight to the smaller sources because they usually have juicier headlines. Is Lore finally dead in Star Trek Picard? Yes, he is. And that's good. But I'm glad that they acknowledged Lore. Lore was like he was the prototype before Data. And Dr. Soong was trying to give him emotions, but it like short-circuited his brain, so he became evil pretty much. And it was an interesting playoff by Brent Spiner to have like a dual personality role. That was cool. But yeah, they needed to close that off. And if we ever sit down and watch Star Trek Nemesis together, we'll never understand why they didn't use that storyline in that movie of like the two twins, because it was right there. They didn't use it. And by the way, Star Trek Picard, I thought it was going to be only 8 episodes this season, and now I guess it's 10. I was sitting there watching it at the end of episode 8, and I was like, yeah, they're all sitting at the table. This is going to be our final shot of seeing this crew all together, like the TNG crew. And then I was like, but wait a minute, we haven't solved the storyline that they set up in the beginning of the season. And then I looked on the wiki page, and it's like 10 episodes. I was like, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, so there's that paint moving. Owen Wilson's Rotten Tomatoes is shockingly bad. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. So, yeah, well, it's not playing a whole lot in places. So it's going to pull out my tomato meter here and see what paint is currently at. Ooh, 31%. That's not good. Hey, I didn't say trailer. Stop that. Ah, 31% by the critics, 53% by the audience. It had a very cheeky tone to the trailer. Now, because you are sort of mocking Bob Ross, who has a loyal fan base, we're all champions of his technique and style, his presentation skills and such. We don't make fun. Like people who make those mock videos of like the big hair and stuff, we're putting in a happy little tree. That yeah, that's comedy. But when you're making a full movie about it, I'm guessing that just doesn't translate. Um, and they took a shot, and it looks like it's a swing and a miss for paint. 31%. Yeah, that's not good. 53 by the audience, so it's a collective. Oh man, what is this movie? So let's take a look at some of the snapshot reviews. Filmwire. It's very awkward and wrong-headed. Well, that was the danger of taking that kind of tone with the trailer. Is it serious or isn't it? Yeah, he's a painter, but he doesn't. Yeah. Maybe it's too on the nose for some people. Maybe it's a little too close to the reality of what actually sort of did happen, which kind of sucks. Let's take a look at a good one here. Owen Wilson proves he knows the difference between a comic actor and a comedian who acts. Well, Owen Wilson is a good actor, and he's got range because he can do the comedy that we've seen in things like the Wedding Crashers and such, but he can also do serious stuff too. He's got a lot of range, and he can do action surprisingly too. What was that flight movie where he was a pilot that crashes in enemy territory and he's got to try to get out? He was good in that too. Yeah, it was funny in Meet the Parents and stuff like that. So, I know he can. I wanted to see it mostly because of him. I wanted to see what he was doing with the performance. Let's take a look at some of the other bad reviews here. Die, and it will not entertain a lot of people, but a very particular sense of humor. It's clever and fun, says Hope Madden. Hope Madden. Whoever the heck Hope Madden is, she has got her opinion, and she likes it. Let's take a look at another bad one here from the cinematic reel. Paint takes a blank canvas and leaves it as it began, blank. A bland, boring, non-existent satire that would lead audiences to be more entertained by watching paint dry. Yeah, so he's really taking shots at it there. Paint. Not a good response. Not a good response. Who is this Michael Watkins? Do I recognize her? She was in Paint. She's in Paint. Is that her right there? She looks vaguely familiar. Was that 2.5 Men? Was she on that show? Yeah. Oh, Marcia Gay Harden. Okay. Cool. Mother's Day. Mother's Day. I like. Yeah. Well. Anyway, I'm digressing here. Paint bombs at the box office and critically. Bummer, man. What Nicolas Cage's knowing movie was really about? What? That was a long time ago. Two-Face is ready to be redeemed. No thanks. Don't want that story. Ahsoka creator reveals his unexpected favorite part of the character being live action. What, that you actually get to touch her? I mean, like, you actually get to have, like, that tangible, like, yeah, that's real kind of thing. Not touch her, James. Oh, my God. People are going to take that the wrong way, aren't they? Yeah. That's what I meant. Star Trek 3's TNG full reunion was worth waiting for. Yeah, it was. And it's like when they were all sitting at the table together, it's like, why did it take this long to put this together? It's kind of like, imagine you make, yeah, they did make Star Trek series where it's kind of like the first seasons of Picard is like, why aren't you using these people that everybody wants to see? It's kind of like making a Star Wars movie with Han, Luke, and Leia and not having them all in the same scene together. Like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't, it's just like, why would, yeah, it sucks. Anyway, Picard doesn't suck. Picard season 3 is, it's my favorite show of the year so far. Easily. It blows everything else out of the water. And I don't care what other people say about certain storylines in there, about certain characters right here not working. It's just the nostalgia for me, and that's why I like it. I'm biased. I'll admit that. Hereditary theory makes Peter's fate more terrifying. What? That he's stuck. That the demon possessed him, but he can still be. He's still aware. He's like locked in a cage in his mind. Yeah, that's pretty terrifying. Oh, My Hero Academia. 8 moments. All right, guys. Not seeing too much fun here. Ray Stevenson gives insight into Ahsoka's orange lightsaber wielding villains. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. I need some explanation because why is it orange? Let's see what he says. Catalyst. He evades details about orange lightsaber, but describes his character as a catalyst. There's a book called Catalyst, right? Which will lead to an effervescent spectacle of Babylon. What? Is that his character's name? Babylon? Okay. Maybe he's unique. Some catalyst that upsets the cart. The sparks off and fires and gets meandering. Okay, there are sometimes like catalysts. They're thrown into this thing as a catalyst. Geez, you sure like that word catalyst. And then there's another meaning of that. What's going on? What is their mission? Your Force users, obviously, when you see Babylon actually get to meet Thrawn, you wonder if it's the first time or the last time. What's going on? Again, hang on. There's a dynamic here that's another thing that fans will discover. What the heck are you? Huh. Okay. This is Hera, right? Is that people? That's what people are saying. That's Hera. I don't know who Hera. Like, this is why we need to watch the Clone Wars and Rebels. Cause okay, so that's Hera, and that was yeah, we've seen the Twilight. Okay, so who the heck was the blonde girl then? Yeah, I don't know anything about her character. But it's going to be cool to learn more about her. This one, because these two are both orange lightsaber users. And it looks like they got the same kind of design on their chest pieces. Fascinating. Yeah. Chris Schober says, I just rented Star Trek Picard Season 2 at the West Duluth Library, and I'm on second for the hold, and I'm not watching Season 3 yet because I'm waiting. Okay. Well, it's no spoiler alert that he knew that Picard would come back to see some of his, like the TNG crew. You knew that was the selling feature for Season 3. That's not spoiling anything. Season 2 is good. Borg Queen. That's all I'll say. And the red dress. Oh, red dress. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't think the weekend's box office numbers are in up at Box Office Mojo just yet. No, they're not there yet. Obviously, THR had them, but Box Office Mojo hasn't updated the site. All right, let's get into the review for Air. And I'll cut this out and I'll put it up later. Okay. Let's make sure that my screens are cropped properly. Here we go. Air is out in theaters right now, guys, and here is my quick review. I like this movie. It's a pretty good movie. It's got some great acting, and it's got a really good cast. So, Air, is that Michael Jordan movie that doesn't really have Michael Jordan in it, but it's about the shoes and how he struck that deal with Nike. Now, the synopsis here on IMDb reads, it follows the history of shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro, that's Matt Damon's character, and how he led Nike in his pursuit of the greatest athlete in history of basketball, Michael Jordan. Well, yeah, it's about like putting the money together to offer him the deal for the shoes and stuff like that. But the highlight is the acting. The highlight is the script. It's the dialogue. It moves rather quickly, and it's just a really good piece to showcase the acting talent of Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Jason Bateman was really good in this. I think this is actually the best I've seen Jason Bateman. Viola Davis was okay. She did her part. Chris Tucker, yeah, he's back in acting after taking somewhat of a hiatus, but he was good in this too. Based on real life people. Matthew Mahara, at the end credits, they showed the people that this was based on and stuff like that. There's Chris Tucker. Yeah, he does his part. He's got like a lisp in this, so it's kind of like sometimes maybe hard for some people to understand. Viola Davis was solid. To talk about designing the shoe and stuff like this. But as I said here, it's about acting. Matt Damon, he carries this all on his shoulders, and it's worth seeing in the theater for sure. Jason Bateman, oh yeah, I forgot it. I wanted to highlight that. Jason Bateman here, he's got a like. As I said, it lets these actors showcase their talents. And Jason Bateman has got a great monologue in here about taking chances, and I got a family to look after. I got other things on my table that I'm concerned with, and you're not, because you're going after Michael Jordan. You're putting everything on the line, and there's a great dialogue in there as to what that means to each of these characters, right? What they all stand to lose, and Jason Bateman does a great job of pointing all that out. It is funny. There are moments in this where you'll be laughing there, where the whole theater is going to be laughing at the same part, and a lot of that has to do with the execution of the story, which Ben Affleck does a very good job in this. But again, it's a movie about Michael Jordan that you don't get to see Michael Jordan in, and I don't care if it was going to be a de-aged version of him or not. You do see like him walking from behind into a room and stuff like that. You do hear his voice, but that's about it. It did offer some insights into the deal that I didn't know. But overall, guys, I had fun with Air. And if you saw or are a fan of this channel, the week leading up to this, I was kind of like, guys, there's really nothing in here that's really making me want to go out into the theater to watch it. Well, it just so happens that my experience was I was with a couple of people that I really wanted to go spend some time with. So we sat in the theater and we enjoyed this movie thoroughly. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying, see if I agree with them. With the rankings for Air. Do you need to go to the theater to see this, though? That's what I'm debating here. And I'll conclude maybe with my statement about that. But going over to the Rotten Tomato score, 92% by critics, 98% by the audience. So it's being very well received. And it was a packed cinema when I went to see it. So people are wanting to check this out. So my little spiel of maybe saying to wait for it for a streaming service is not warranted. So let's see what people are saying. From the Observer UK says, for all its affable charm, there's something slippery and disingenuous about this film. Yeah, I'm sure that they took liberties with some of the story, for sure. For sure. And of course, because Michael Jordan didn't want to appear in it or something, then they got to work around with that. They try their best. Irish Dime says, the film certainly invites fists to be pumped in celebration. It is less certain Air offers any meaningful critique of society that gave us the sacred gutty. What? The Sacred Gutty. What the heck are you talking about? Is that a shoe or something? The Sacred Shrew? Affleck's return to the director's chair is an exceptional success, stimulated by its script and cast. Yeah. As I said, acting, script, and if you know the story around how this all happened together, I'm sure then you're going to be wanting to watch this regardless because you want to see how well they portray the story, right? Corey over at Double Toasted, let's hear what he had to say. If Air wasn't an R-rated comedy, it would probably be a Hallmark Channel movie. The story, however, is what keeps it compelling and entertaining through the whole way through. Okay. Air is the next great American sports movie, says this guy. Well, I don't know about that. No, it's not in there in the top 3 or 5 even of best sports movies, because there's a number of them. Like, it's just off the top of sports movies that are really worth seeing any given Sunday. Waterboy with Adam Sandler, I would check out before this because hey, it's a sports movie. You'll just have a more entertaining time. But as far as serious ones, Hoosiers, Field of Dreams, Last Great Game or whatever. Yeah, Friday Night Lights. There's tons that I could just think of right there that are better than this. Because it's not really about sports. It's about a guy who is on the cusp of being fired, and he puts together this deal for Nike to acquire Air Jordan. So there you go. It's worth the look if you are into that kind of stuff. But if you're not, I would say wait for the streaming service. That's what I would say. And I know that comes as a shock and a blow to you, Ben. But I think it's going to be fine at the box office. I was doing some early preliminary numbers, and as of Saturday, it made 10.8. Or sorry, as of Friday, it made 10.8. So it's got Sunday and Saturday. There's numbers to still come in. So it's probably going to make around 20 to 25 million opening weekend on a $35 million budget. I think Air is going to be fine, and it's going to have as you can see by critics and people, it's got positive word of mouth. It's not a bomb. Air's not going to be a bomb, but I don't think it's also going to be like a slam dunk success. There, 92 by the critics, 98 by the audience. I would probably have to end up giving Air an 8.5. Yeah. And a lot of those points come off because of story embellishments. It's not as glamorous. I'm sure it was not as glamorous as this movie portrayed it to be, for sure. Especially once you start to hear what Michael Jordan's demands were for all of this stuff. It's you can't, like, they sugarcoat it for sure. They sugarcoat that aspect when it comes to what Michael Jordan's demands were. That's all I'll say. So, yeah. Air, it is worth seeing. I just don't know if it's in theaters. On streaming for sure. It should be out there for people who are liking acting and stuff like that. All right, that's it for me, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. It doesn't have a post-credit scene. No, it doesn't have a post-credit scene. It's got a bunch of clips, like live clips of like the press conferences and stuff when Jordan was going through the acceptance and stuff like that of the shoe and stuff like that. Like, so it's got like archival footage of Michael Jordan. That's pretty much it. Okay, let's take some live comments here. Chris Schober says, do you think Star Trek Picard Season 3 is the final season, or do you think they'll make a... Well, Patrick Stewart said that this would be the final season for him, for the TV show, because doing a series season, well, I was about to say that it would be longer than a movie shoot, but it seemed like the way he described it, if there was a movie pitched, that he would like to come back and do it. Which is good, because when he was finishing out the TNG run, he was demanding $12 million a picture just to appear in like Star Trek Nemesis and Insurrection and stuff. And it's kind of like, if you, I understand you're trying to make the bank, but he's come around now. He's like, I like this character. It resonates with the fans. And before I cash out my chips, I want to deliver something for the fans. So he's coming back to these roles, which are really cool. That's why we get cameos like Patrick Stewart in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, which is just fun. I would love to see another season of Picard, especially how well this season is being received. I don't see it coming together like that. So maybe a movie. We'll have to see. Iron Boy Wonder says at least Paramount Pictures is associated with Indiana Jones 5. Paramount Pictures, yes. Oh, why is my mouth so dry? Weird, man. All right. Let's go over the old Twitter sphere and see what else is trending out there. See if I missed anything. Sorry. I'm just waiting for it to load. What's this? New Line Films Evil Dead, The Nun, Insidious, Exorcist, and Saw franchise will all be releasing in theaters this year. What? Oh, new films of the franchise. Okay, I was like, wait, there's a new, they're re-releasing them? But no. Yeah, we are getting a new Evil Dead Rise, and we're getting The Nun 2, which I still haven't seen any production on. I know it's got to be wrapped pretty soon. Insidious 5. Now, I haven't heard anything about that one, too. Patrick Wilson is going to be directing, and there's the Darth Maul. Like, this flash shot really scared people in the theater, myself included. It made people jump. But when you freeze frame it like this, it's not as scary, right? Yeah, Darth Maul monster. The music and the scenery helped with that for sure. But he's directing the 5th one, so I want to see what he can do with it. And yeah, we're getting a new Saw movie this year. Horror films releasing: Renfield, Clock, Boogeyman, Talk to Me, Last Voyage of Demeter. Yeah. Ryan Gosling says the role of Ken in Barbie is the role he was born to play. Speaking of which, for some reason, he looks like Barney Rubble there, like from the Flintstones. They played the Barbie trailer in front of Air, but it was the teaser, not that new trailer that dropped. I don't understand that. Like, some theaters are really behind. So he really felt like he was born to play Ken. I'm watching him mostly for Margot Robbie. There's ripped abs. Okay. Super Mario Bros. Has officially overtaken Frozen 2 as the biggest opening for an animated film in box office history. Well, again, guys, did Frozen 2 have a 5-day opening weekend? I don't know about that. I know this, like, people like to spin it like that, but we got to take it in context. Scream 6 has become the highest grossing film of the Scream franchise at the domestic box office. Yeah, so that franchise is definitely going strong. I really enjoyed the last Scream movie. Hayden Panettiere, awesome. Kirby, actually, to tell you the truth, no. Was she? Yeah, was she my favorite character? I don't know. Melissa Barrera was pretty cool in it too. Chris Schober says, "Do you think we will see Luke Skywalker and Rey Han Solo reunion for the upcoming new movies that Lucasfilm has introduced in Celebration?" Well, Leia's always a possibility now that because her family, Carrie Fisher's family, signed off saying that it was okay to use her likeness for Leia in future iterations, which is weird. And they're allowed to use the the same kind of deal for James Earl Jones. He signed off, said that they're allowed to emulate his voice forever, you as Darth Vader. So you're never going to get another actor doing Darth Vader. It'll always sound like James Earl Jones. Chris Schober, do you think we will get a reunion of Snoke and Skywalker in any of these? Not Snoke. Snoke, they really they crapped the bed with Snoke. Because of Rian Johnson. he and I also blame J.J. Abrams because he didn't do enough to establish him firmly enough in the seventh movie. And I blame Kathleen Kennedy because it was, and Bob Iger, because it just didn't allow the screenwriter who wanted to develop all three properly. Iger forced it through, and it was kind of like they took the approach of each person got to write their own movie, and we'll just call it episode 8, even though you should be following the storyline setups that were set up by number 7. And Kathleen Kennedy approved, Rian Johnson poo-pooing over everything. So it was kind of like, yeah. Yeah. What's this? My Taylor is, it's trending on Twitter. What's Taylor Swift? Joe Owen are still together after 6 long years of dating. Oh, is it their anniversary or something? Yeah, she's been with this guy for like 6 years. Good for them. What? Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn broke up, so I blocked Mac. What? They broke up? No, that's. Why would they be celebrating their 6 years if they broke up? I don't buy that. And then yeah, Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone said this. End of an era. Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn have reportedly split after 6 years together by Rolling Stone. That's weird. She just kicked off her Eras tour. Joe Alwyn, you got your chance to step up to the plate and be with the greatness, with the queen, the goddess, that I would sell my soul to Beelzebub himself to even be in the same room with her. My God, you got your chance and you blew it. Right? Maybe again, 6 years. Hey, Taylor's in her 30s now, right? Like 33 or something. If you haven't found your life partner and you're with the guy for 6 years, if it's not going to go the distance, maybe it is better to break up. I'm not heartbroken about this because now it's my chance. The chance is out there for me to finally have my chance to woo Tay-Tay. No. What's going on with this page? It's like, wait for it to respond. Rolling Stone. I don't know. That's just celebrity gossip. I if they broke up, whatever. She's never going to go out with me anyway. I'm just joking around about that stuff, guys. I'm too old for her anyway. Let's see how old Taylor Swift is. But yeah, for sure. When you're in your 30s, 33, yeah. Yeah, so I clicked on that Rolling Stone headline there. If they broke up, whatever. You're gonna she's been so invested in her career. She's going to be directing a full-length movie soon. She's got more than enough money. She doesn't have to work another day in her life if she doesn't want to. 33, start a family. I would say somewhere around there. The thing is that if she's breaking up with this guy, then she's got to go out there and find some. Hope she doesn't get some bounce back guy that she has a baby with that only. Yeah, don't do that, and then break up with the guy 2 years later, and then she finds another guy and decides wants to have a baby with that guy, and it's kind of like, get out of here with that nonsense. It's just, I want the best for her. I do. But we all got our own paths to live. Her path, if that's happened, well, I guess I can just wish for her to be happy. Find happiness. That's what I say. Byford in the live chat says Happy Easter. Hey, Happy Easter there, Byford. Hope you had some chocolate. Had some Easter egg hunts. Okay. Chris Schubert also asks, what about the Emperor Palpatine clones? Well, that's a possibility too. And I was thinking about this morning too, about like the spin-off stuff, because, and I'm thinking about like it in story structure. Like, you know how there's like a first, second, and third act of things. I was thinking about okay, in the first prequel trilogy is about Anakin becoming Darth Vader, and then it's about the son trying to redeem him from Darth Vader, and then like the third trilogy from Lucas's point of view was supposed to be about Leia actually becoming the chosen one, but since they threw out all of his ideas, I felt like things like the sequel trilogy felt so detached from what they were doing in the first 6 movies. It felt like Elseworld movies. Like, here's what could have happened if in some alternate universe kind of thing. It really does feel like it, because it doesn't feel like it's very well connected to like all that's connecting it is a few lines of dialogue in Last Jedi when Luke talks about Darth Sidious, and that's it. Because they came down with the mandates of saying we can't talk about the prequels because people don't like the prequels. But no, people do like the prequels. They got that wrong. They were trying to tell Star Wars fans what they were fans of instead of listening to them first. And that was one of the big mistakes. So what would I have done when, like, where can this, it's still open for them to do these possibilities of making Grand Admiral Thrawn the big bad guy that could put together a cohesive trilogy of movies where he's like the big bad guy that they've got to deal with now. And what I would do with that, because Thrawn was out at the Outer Rim, he knows, like, pull in from some of that expanded universe where you get the Yuuzhan Vong, the people that are not Force, where the Force has no effect on them whatsoever, and explore ideals that Palpatine was actually setting up for, like he was building all of these big weapons so that he would be able to defend, like, himself against this incoming threat that he knew was coming down the lines from the outside of the galaxy and stuff. Like, there's a lot that could take that avenue and switch it from Palpatine getting ready to Thrawn getting ready to take that threat on. And then the Jedi and these other Force users just get caught up in the mess. Like, it can be so easily done. And they just don't seem to be doing it. I don't understand why they've got all these books and source material and stuff that they could be mining from, but I was dumbfounded when Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams came out for episode 9 and was like, there's no source material. We've got to work from scratch. It's like, what are you talking about? You just made episode 7 and 8 and you got no material? What about the script for Duel of the Fates? And you're just going to throw that out? You're going to throw out everything from Lucas and you're saying you have no material? How dare you? And we as Star Wars fans know that. So they're stepping on the fan base when they say BS like that. And hopefully J.J. Abrams is not allowed anywhere near Star Wars ever again, or any other franchise for that matter. JJ, go make your own stuff. Win us back before you step into like Superman or something, because you're just smoke and mirrors. You're lens flares. That's all you are. And people drank that Kool-Aid with the first Star Trek movie, and it's kind of like, oh, it's JJ Abrams. Isn't he so awesome? But when you actually look into the substance of what he does, it's really not. Sorry, I'm bumming people out talking about this subject. And it's supposed to be a happy day. Easter. There's kids outside playing. I'm rambling. Let's go in and wrap up these headlines here. Ali Wong's character from Netflix's Beef. Oh yeah, that they debuted, right? It's a series. I need to check out Beef. Happy birthday to Kirsten Stewart. Oh well, happy birthday. I do like Kirsten Stewart, not from the Twilight franchise. I like her as an actress, and she's going to be directing her own movie pretty soon here too, so that's cool. Uh, I wanted to watch Underwater with her with you guys on the Horror Weekly Roundup or on our horror show, but nobody voted for it. Sucks. Oh, okay, so there it is. There, Taylor Swift and this guy have broken up, and it's weird. She's on tour right now. That sucks for them. Maybe he couldn't compete with the lifestyle. You know, she's always gone on tour and stuff like that. She spends, like, when she does one of those big shows, that's 3 hours on stage. She's out there. But it's like building up to that. You got to rest your voice. You got to eat well. You got to be taking care of your body. You don't got time to pay the affections to a mate, to a partner. And if you are going to have a partner, you're going to have one that's understanding of that. It's kind of like you have to have the same interests. And I don't know anything about Joel Alwyn if his interests are the same. It's like, yeah, they like to look at each other. They like the way each other have maybe same food taste or something. But you got to be able to grow with somebody. You got to be able to adapt with somebody. And if it's not going to work after 6 years, is it really worthwhile hanging on to? So it looks like maybe that romance is over. Bummer. As I said, I just wish her happiness. Citadel! New poster for Citadel. Priyanka Chopra and Richard Madden. That's a kind of a cool poster, right? A little generic, I would say, for some people, but yeah. Super Mario was overtaken Frozen. Yeah, we saw that. Joyland is now in. All right. Well, I think that's all I got in the can for today, guys. We've been going here for about 50 minutes or so, and it is Sunday. Anya Taylor-Joy. God, Jesus. Yeah, she does take a good photo. Just think she was just in a town near me when she was shooting Queen's Gambit. But she's a busy girl too. She's got Furiosa coming out this year, and we just saw or heard her in the Mario movie, so kudos to her. She's busy too. All right, guys, that's it for me. Hit that thumbs up button. Enjoy your Easter weekend or what remains, and eat lots of chocolate, and I'll see you next time, tomorrow, for more movie news. And pay attention later today. I may publish the schedule. If I got time, I got to get into the kitchen and start cooking. See you next time.